Good evening. Welcome to the May 23rd meeting of the Arapahoe County Planning Commission. We do have a quorum of commissioners present. On my left are Commissioners Saul and Rader, and on my right are Commissioners Rick and Latsis, and I'm Commissioner Rosenberg. Tonight we have case number P16-015, Centennial East Corporate Center number 11, City Lighting Warehouse and Office Final Development Plan. Molly?
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Molly Orkill-Larson, Senior Planner with the Public Works Department. The County Attorney has reviewed the public notice and has determined that the applicant has met all the notice requirements, thereby establishing jurisdiction. What's before you tonight is the City Lighting Final Development Plan. The applicant is MJ Cussett Architects. The applicant is seeking approval for a 27,647 square foot building to contain office and warehouse space for 3 tenants on 2 existing lots of the Centennial East Corporate Center. An administrative replat and vacation of easements applications are also being processed concurrently with this final development plan. The property is zoned MU, and the proposed uses are allowed as per the preliminary development plan. The application is also within the Centennial Airport Environs Planning Area, which is also known as CAPA. This application complies with the CAPA design requirements. Staff recommends the application to be approved based on the findings in the staff report and along with conditions of approval. The applicant is here tonight and is available to answer any questions you may have. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to the applicant unless you have any questions for me. Any questions? All right, I'll turn it over to the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry we moved quick. And if you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. My name is Michael Cassett with MJ Cassett Architects. We're located at 7563 South Salida Court in Centennial. We are proposing to put in an office warehouse, mostly warehouse office for City Lighting Products. They also own a building just almost adjacent to this on the other end of the court. They're I think, selling that building or at least fully leasing it out. Fully leasing it, and they're building a new facility for themselves and leaving some room for lease space for additional tenants. The site, as Molly had indicated, is a 2-acre site that we're proposing to put a pre-engineered building on that will be split into three modules to be flexible. It's got, if you look at the site plan on sheet 2 of 9, you can see those modules. The north and south end caps have bumped out dock areas, and the center section of the building is set back to create a dock area, and this will allow for the movements of tractor trailer trucks if necessary, and for a single flow through so that they can drive in one end and back up to the dock and then straight out back onto the court. They also have 3 small delivery truck overhead doors on the front elevation. This is for the intended use of smaller delivery trucks. They could actually drive into the building and drop off materials or load up, but these would be a lot smaller variety. We've met the minimum parking requirements as well as landscape requirements, and believe that we've taken into account all the various requirements from the Metro Stormwater District and Arapahoe County Water to make this project viable. Jacob McMillan and Cole Haberer with HCI Engineering are here to answer any questions you have regarding any engineering aspects of grading and utilities and that type of thing. We also have Ben Garvin here from City Lighting Products, just to let you know that the ownership is interested in the project enough to come and be available to answer any questions about their operations and type of businesses that they're anticipating. Right now, the building is being created as a shell building, where the intention is that we will create a tenant finish package for the office portion for City Lighting Products once it's under construction, and that'll be sort of a separate project. But we needed to get the big main building core up so that we can take advantage of our building season this summer. If you can look on the sheets for landscaping on sheet 6 of 9, on the you can see that we've tried to maximize the amount of trees for the streetscape and have landscaped back off of the Dillon Court itself. Broken up the parking lot so that we don't have long expanses of stalls, and provided ADA access from the sidewalk into the front entry component of the building. I did get a call from American Service Dogs who are located just south of this project. They have a dog play yard and have done some landscaping on their north end, and they wanted to see our south end. I sent them that landscape plan over yesterday, and they responded back that it looked great and wished us luck on the project. So just a little bit on the landscaping end of that. As far as the building elevations, we started this project and found out that rather than just putting up a corrugated metal structure, that Arapahoe County is kind of frowning on that, and wanted to see some more architecture brought into these buildings to kind of give them some character, sense of presence, and a little bit of design quality on all 4 sides. We've tried to still work within that industry with their insulated metal panels, but they have come out with some interesting new products lately that we think are going to create kind of a unique building and hopefully sort of set the tone for what you can see moving forward from this. The main building has got a 4-foot wainscot of stone, and then we've broken up the facade on the corners and accent areas where we brought the stone up to a 16-foot level, which is the point of transition going from the horizontal panels, which have a stucco finish surface on them, and to the what is a very smooth panel that's stacked in a vertical dimension on the top. And we thought that rather than just have a square flat building, since the drainage swale is off to the west of this building, we could slope this whole roof to the west, drain all the water off the building, which is the major component on the site, and drop it down, run it over our drive-through lane, and we're right into the creek. So that worked out pretty nice, and we think that it gives the building a little bit different character. We've tried to overhang some of the roof lines, accent them with some support struts to give a little more detail to the buildings. The front of the building has also some canopies that are supported with angled columns, and we've created a facade that has the potential for 3 individual businesses. The building could be used as a single user, or it could be 3 individual businesses, but each could have their own sense of entry and sort of break it up that way. That leaves the building flexible over time and I think created kind of a nice facade to the street. We also put some upper windows into this project to kind of bring some natural daylight into the warehouse area, both on the east and west sides of the building. We think that, that'll help bring some of the natural light into what's typically a pretty dark and grimly lit space in a warehouse. And we've put the electrical switchgear and all of that in the back of the building, including trash enclosures. We're trying to screen those off the ends of the building and not leave them exposed to the street. So the color samples, we're using kind of a almond colored panel on the top portion of the building with a what's called Surrey beige stucco finish for the intermediate panels, and then a Coronado honey ledge stone for the wainscot base, and then the accent columns that you see on the drawing. And on the last sheet, we've done some conceptual rendering sketches. They're a little more than conceptual. They're pretty accurate. And you can see on the southeast corner a typical main dock where we've got the overhang and the structural supports. That's where the truck would back into, and those docks are recessed for dock levelers, and the truck would be back down into there. I don't expect this project to have an enormous amount of truck traffic, but circulating trucks, whether it's 1 or 20, is still got to make it work. So we thought we might as well make it nice while we made it work. If you have any questions about the project or want to know any more, we're certainly here to answer your questions.
This Rick. Oh, is yours done? There.
I have a question about the stormwater drainage. You said initially you'd be using an existing pond, and then at some later time there would be the Blackhawk pond to be built. What is the timeline for that?
I think this site is part of a master drainage plan, and it actually is going into the Windmill Creek right behind the building. Okay. So we don't have to have a pond. This site is already part of a drainage district. We just need to get to that Windmill Creek to drain to the pond.
Okay.
If you're going to comment, we need you to come to the microphone so it can be recorded.
Sure.
And then state your name and address.
I'm Jake McMillan, located at 12633 Grove Street, Broomfield, Colorado. So yeah, on the west side of the site, there's an existing swell, there's an existing swell to the north, but it also outlets into Windmill Creek, and we're just providing water quality on the west side of the site in the proposed grassline swale before it enters Windmill Creek, where it'll eventually go to the Blackhawk Pond for detention. Okay. So detention isn't provided on site, just water quality.
There's sort of natural drainage there already.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm a little confused as to your response with the city of Centennial, because obviously the city of Centennial is immediately to the west of this project. Mm-hmm. And they asked about, they suggested shifting trees north to screen the trash enclosure and making the north trash enclosure similar to the one at the south. So are you doing that? That seems like.
But we looked at that on
because the city of Centennial too is being affected by this. So.
Well, this trash enclosure, we've screened off the north edge of it, and directly north of us is another vacant lot as part of this court. And it's not in Centennial. It's still part of Arapahoe County. We have provided trees at every opportunity we can but the site is, we can't plant trees within an easement, which sort of keeps it out of our north and south property lines. And so we did provide a landscape island on the north side to bump that out and screened it behind the back of the dock area. It's exposed to the west, but we've tried to put some shrubs on the west side of that swale as they grow up, they're going to, and we shifted those northward to kind of help screen that particular trash enclosure. The previous version, they saw those shrubs were pulled down more toward the center of the site. So we have shifted them
So
upward.
it moved.
Yes, we have. I mean, we did respond to it. We just can't completely enclose it and hide it.
But you did make changes.
Correct. Just to the west of this project is a kind of a big, I think it's maybe a mini storage or an office building that screens off of is it Blackhawk Street, the next street over. So that you really can't, you won't be able to be in a position to see this trash enclosure unless you're really looking for it. We have built them with concrete block and metal gate doors so that these aren't just rolling dumpsters sitting out there making a mess. And I think it should work. And where it's located, they can't really leave a mess because the truck's going to be driving over it. So I think it's kind of a self-healing solution that we did come up with. And the trash enclosure on the south end is screened in very similarly. It's got landscaping on both sides and that shrub hedge sitting in front of it on the other side of the swell.
Thank you.
So the trash enclosure gate, is it solid?
Yes.
It is solid.
They're solid metal gates. The face of the gate is actually corrugated steel, and they'll be painted to match the trim of the
You can't see the trash container.
Correct.
So how, trying to figure out the size of those shrubs when you plant them.
Oh.
I guess 5 gallons.
5 gallons.
NV. Yeah, they're 5-gallon container shrubs. These are nanny berries, and along that western edge, doesn't say how tall they get, but I would assume they're 5 to 6 feet tall as they get going. And I would assume they get a lot of water on that side of the building.
So they grow to 6 feet eventually?
I'm pretty sure they will, yeah.
So what about the trees they asked for? Why wouldn't you put trees there instead of?
Well, I don't, that whole area from the western edge of the curb of the drive-through to our property line is a drainage easement.
Huh?
It's a 30-foot drainage easement, and they do not allow us to put trees with deep roots in an easement.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions? Seeing none, we will go to the public hearing.
Okay.
Do we have anyone from the public who would like to address the Planning Commission? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and bring this back to Planning Commission for discussion and or a motion. And I want to make a comment. I compliment you on picking up on the fact that we do not like corrugated buildings, and I appreciate what you have done, because I think it is important that, all the buildings help set the standard, and the newer ones have been doing that generally better than the older ones have. So thank you.
I'd like to add to that and say I also appreciate that you use the larger caliber trees than the minimum. I saw you use 2 and 2.5 inch calibers on your deciduous trees, which is nice. It'll make the site look more mature. And I really do like your exterior elevation. It has a lot of character to it for storage. Thank you.
So would you like to make a motion?
Sure, I will make a motion.
Okay. I guess we're all giving kudos.
Okay, so I'd like to move in the case of 216-015 City Lighting Warehouse Office Final Development Plan. Planning Commissioners have reviewed the staff report, including all exhibits and attachments, and have listened to the applicant's presentation and the public comment as presented at the hearing. I hereby move to recommend approval of this application based on the findings in the staff report, subject to the following conditions 1 through 5.
Okay, so motion by Ms. Latsis. Do we have a second?
I will second.
Ms. Rick seconds. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously and is sent to the Board of County Commissioners with a recommendation for approval. Thank you. Dan, do we have any further business? Okay. Then the meeting is adjourned.